When you squat, lunge, or any lower body exercise, you shouldn't let your knees go past your toes. We've all heard that statement, but is it really the case? So let's dive into the science and set the record straight, and then take that knowledge and apply it to our own training. The idea that forward knee travel is harmful can be traced back to a 1961 study by Dr. Karl Klein, in which he suggested that deep squats can overstretch the ligaments and that can lead to instability at the knee. Like all good science, this idea gained traction after Dr. Klein was featured in an interview for Sports Illustrated with the incredible name, "The knee is not for bending." And that's all it took, because despite criticism of his work at the time, the theory became widely accepted and the squat all but disappeared from American fitness routines. Klein's argument was centered on the claim that as you get deeper into the squat, more and more shear forces will be created at the knee, and that is what overstretches the ligaments and leads to instability. Shear forces, in simple terms, push one part of an object in one direction whilst pushing another in the opposite direction. In the squat, these two forces are the anterior shear force, which is primarily restrained by the ACL, and the posterior shear force, which is primarily restrained by the PCL. As you squat deeper and your knees travel forward, the magnitude of the shear force does increase. So what would happen if we restricted our knees from traveling forward? So if we assume that shear forces are bad for the knee, it would make sense to try and reduce those forces. This study did exactly that by trying to keep the participants' shins as vertical as possible. When they did that, they found that there was a 22% decrease in knee torque, which sounds good, but vertical shins led to a massive 1,070% increase in hip torque. So restricting the natural movement of the knees just leads to a biomechanically inefficient and potentially dangerous movement pattern, which means forward knee travel is necessary for safe and efficient squatting. So if we can't get rid of it, the question then becomes, are the shear forces that this creates enough to damage the knee? Well, a review of 12 studies assessing squat forces at the knee revealed that even the largest shear forces measured in any study aren't enough to result in damage to healthy knee ligaments like the PCL and ACL. The strain on the PCL throughout the squat amounts to at most a bit over half of its total theoretical strength. So the risk squats pose to a healthy PCL are minimal. The risk for injury to the ACL is even lower because the squat applies minimal stress to the ACL throughout the entire movement. The most ACL stress occurs at about 15 to 30 degrees of knee flexion and drops off thereafter. But the amount of stress is negligible thanks in part to the hamstring, whose activity during the squat helps stabilize the knee. So while it is true that as we approach maximum knee bend and our knees are going past our toes, that does increase shear forces primarily through the PCL, it's simply not enough to damage healthy ligaments. And on top of that, your tendons and ligaments adapt to resistance training over time by increasing their tolerance, which will further reduce their risk of injury. So ultimately, for people with healthy knees, restricting forward knee travel is unnecessary and might even prevent you from squatting deeply in a safe manner. And really, any other concerns about degenerative changes at the knee have been debunked by clinical studies. But if you still think that you want to avoid full range squatting because of those scary shear forces, just know that when people do half squats, they tend to use more weight, which will overload the part of the squat where the shear forces are the highest. And that would only make any potential for degenerative changes much worse. However, that doesn't mean that everybody should squat ass to grass either. It's crucial to consider individual differences in our anatomy or biomechanics when determining the best and most effective way to squat. For example, those with pain at the front of the knee or a damaged PCL might benefit from squat variations that reduce forward knee travel, such as the low bar squat or the box squat. But whatever variation you start at, with patience and intelligent programming, it can become a beneficial part of your routine. So in summary, allowing your knees to travel past your toes when squatting, lunging, or any lower body exercise isn't inherently harmful. Increasing forces, including shear forces, is just a natural part of movement, and the squat is no different. The key is to apply the right training stimulus for your level, like all exercises. Knees over toes is a natural movement that our body does every day, and it shouldn't be feared even when training. What should be feared is training beyond your limits. So go ahead and squat with confidence, knowing that it's working towards a stronger and healthier you. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, and please subscribe to the channel. My name's Nicky, this is QED Fitness, and remember, knowledge is power. Catch you next time.